What's going on, people? How you doing? I gotta come at you with the unique perspective that I always do come at you guys with. Today I want to talk to you about Bitcoin and two different schools of thought, okay? Because there's one school of thought that suggests 2008 when the Fed chairman left the office. Well, that was around the same time that Bitcoin came out. So this school of thought suggests that the former Fed chairman, who's also the father of many or most of the modern banking system that we have today, they suggest that that's who Satoshi is. But within that suggestion is the thought process that Bitcoin was created as a warring faction within the ruling elites. You know, they're vying for control and trying to see who will control everyone else. So Bitcoin, as a part of that internal war, is a new method to fund one side or the other. Just a unique perspective and interesting school of thought that's being thrown around out there. But okay, let's go into the flip side. The second way of looking at it is simply that no matter why Bitcoin was created, whether it was done for them, an internal funding, or whether it was just nothing to do with the Fed chairman, something that was created for a decentralized freedom of transmission between two people without a certifying third party. Because essentially that's what it is. Secure method of transmission between two parties without requiring trust from a central authority. So who cares why? Let's just use it as a key. Use Bitcoin as a key to poverty, because anyone with a cell phone and a computer and an internet connection can basically benefit from the fluctuations within different cryptocurrencies and actually make some online secure money or currency. So that's something that's never been available before, because that breaks through engineered scarcity. It steps around access control, and it definitely allows something to come out of nothing. But that used to be reserved to the central banks and to the central banks only. So guess what? Now it empowers the people. You have a Swiss bank account in your freaking cell phone, so it empowers the individual cell phones or the individual computers, the individual people behind the account that is profiting from cryptocurrency. So it wasn't meant for you, or it wasn't meant for the average person. I mean, think about the Matrix. Our perceived reality is dictated to us within a narrow lane of perception. So even when you think you're making your own choice, you're making a choice within a very small box, right? So if it wasn't designed for you, and the average person doesn't know what a Bitcoin is, and beyond that, the people who know what a Bitcoin is don't know how to participate in Bitcoin investment banking, where you actually are doing fractional reserve banking in Bitcoin, then you're not multiplying, you're not creating Bitcoin out of thin air, and that means you don't have the same power that individual banks have now within the fiat game, because that's essentially what they do. Banks create banknotes, which is considered legal tender, and their lending rules or practices means that they can leverage $9 for every $1 that they get. So that means that there's a perpetual print factory that adds to inflation, and that's just how the game works. You never win, because every dollar that's created out of debt has interest attached to it. So how do you stay ahead of the interest when it was created out of nothing? So fiat is gonna fail just because of how the math works. Anytime you leverage in 30 to 1 and your speculative bubbles don't have a cap on it in terms of derivatives, yeah, that's not gonna be sustainable. So in Bitcoin, you have the ability to do the same thing without the speculative betting. You know, you're actually doing fractional reserve lending within created digital assets, and that's powerful. That's a key that's never been available to the layman, right? So the average person isn't going to take the time to figure out what I just said, but it's not created for you. It's created for the few, and they feel like whoever is the few is such a small number that who cares about the ones that squeeze through the cracks. So you can take the time to do the studying and like I have, and gain access to this information. You know, it's like you esoteric folks that read in hidden libraries and then use the power of manifestation to manipulate those around you. Well, now we're in the age of information, and you don't have to be a member of a secret society to have access to the same laws of creation and information behind the matrix. I can read about it myself, and I'm not affiliated, nor am I a traveler. But I can speak in your language because I have access to the same information. So the point is, they don't care who squeezes through the cracks. And I'm encouraging you to squeeze through self-study, self-empowerment, self-enlightenment, and actually use the key to unlock the financial doors within your life, sort of manifest some Bitcoin through fractional reserve Bitcoin banking. And if you're not familiar with those processes, then that's where I come in, and I can introduce you to 3 different Bitcoin banks. And then you can position yourself within those Bitcoin banks so that you win. You know, you're looking at 2 to 10% returns every day, and that's more than the less than 1% return that a regular bank's going to give you. So the process that I'm presenting to you in relation to Bitcoin is unlocking doors, using this as a key, and those smart enough to position themselves to get ahead of the game, get ahead of momentum, physically step outside of everyone else, you know, utilize some of that mana and emulate the God spark to manifest some new currency within a new economy that eventually is going to become commonplace. So this is like being invited to Google on day 1, or the, you know, first week it came out, invited to Facebook the first week it came out. It's only for the few, but those very few who have, say, 25,000 and they want to position themselves within Bitcoin fractional reserve banking, you can instantly move to, say, 675,000 on that same figure within a return of investment of a short period of time, 30 to 90 days. So that's worth paying attention to. That's worth the study that I put into it. Anyway, it's not for everyone. The management and overhead involved in this investment requires you to log onto the internet every single day, and then occasionally point click transfer some digital money from one place to another. So I know that seems complicated, but that's what it takes to manage this account. So I'm inviting, because I feel like there are some that can be reached, and currently I'm on an island by myself, and it's very small and lonely, called Asset Management Acquisition. So when you're asset centric and everyone around you is paper centric and they're stuck in the matrix, and you can step outside of it, it makes you lonely. But the loneliness comes with tests, because somebody hacked into my account and stole all of my assets. But this was a public exchange where you shouldn't really keep assets anyway. So everything in life is a test. The test that came from keeping your tokens on a public exchange is don't. Anyway, hit me up on Facebook if you're interested. I do a lot of one-on-one counseling for people that want to go down this Bitcoin investment banking path. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes, through Skype or through Messenger voice. So that's the next step. That's the call of action. For the rest of you guys, enjoy your day, enjoy your dollars, enjoy the matrix.